Hello, Hitch. Hello. Are we making it? Are we making the shift? Hopefully we are. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hi, good evening, good evening. Hello, welcome. Welcome, welcome. This is my significantly lower stress place to do my lives. So I'm happy to be here. Oh my goodness. Hello. Hi. Oh, Kathleen, Nancy, Kristen. Hello, Elizabeth, Lee, Zoe. Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. June Marie. Welcome. Cecilia, Mama Llama, Jackie, Buzzing Bee. Hello. 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 Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you all. Thank you for coming over here for me. I appreciate that so much. So we can have kind of a more relaxed, more relaxed live. Hello, hi Kathy, Kaya, good evening, Melanie, hello. Hello, hello. Hopefully everybody's been having an okay Saturday overall. It is Saturday, right? I'm losing track. I'm losing track of time. That's the first thing to go, right? Oh my goodness. All right, well, welcome in, welcome in. We'll wait just a few minutes for everyone to get their notifications and then we can go forward on that. So I think probably one of the biggest things here was last night. I almost went live on this actually. Last night, of course, we got the decision from the Court of Appeals regarding TikTok. So yikes. You should, Vicky. You should get notification. Oh, I'm happy to be here, Heidi. I'm happy to be here. Start doing lives here instead. I am, Melanie. I am absolutely. I took a little bit of a break because I was having some problems with my YouTube account, but actually yesterday those problems cleared themselves out. So we're over here. I will be definitely over here much more than I have been. I'll be posting. The algorithm's weird here, everybody. So I'll be posting some 1 minute posts as well as longer ones. A lot of the content from my TikTok, I'm trying to move over here so that people can take a guess and look around and see what's going on. So, oh, okay, Neon Carrot. Did I miss a live yesterday? No, no. I was thinking about going live, but I have changed my mind at the last minute because this order did come out yesterday. So I thought, well, let's just go on to YouTube and do it. Great to see you. Oh, thanks, thanks. Yes, yes. So I will definitely be, if you've been hanging around my YouTube the last couple weeks, I've definitely been uploading a lot more things, moving some things around and so on. So just to prepare, and it's not just because, oh, Kristen, oh, super chat, woohoo, oh, that's so sweet. But you know, I think a lot of creators, I'm going to just assume, but a lot of creators have been getting pretty frustrated with the talk anyway, and it's easier to go through these kinds of documents and explain it over here because I don't have to censor my words so much. So I do appreciate that quite a bit. But it's just got a good vibe to it over here, everybody. I'm happy with the vibe, with the YouTube vibe. It makes me happy. But welcome in, everybody, welcome in. Hopefully everyone was able to catch my post over on the talk explaining I'd be here tonight. So hello, Bob. Hello, welcome. All right, everybody. Oh my gosh. My goodness gracious. There's just a lot. There's a lot going on. And I'm not particularly happy about any of it. My humble opinion, there's a lot of crap going on here. So ABC case. I am Cecilia. Look right here. Look what I've got. The ABC case. Absolutely. Can the powers go after YouTube? The powers work differently on YouTube. I think they work quite a bit differently, so we should be safer over here for now. Oh, good, Kay. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, it's just a different vibe over here. Their community guidelines are a little bit different. I think they're much more careful with kids on the app, honestly. But that's because they've had multiple years of trying to make sure that the youngsters aren't coming in to places they shouldn't be. So TikTok has been great and I enjoy it and I'll keep working on it for sure. But you know, I also, it's frustrating, I think, for a lot of creators to not really know where we're at. Like, when's it going to get banned? Now, next week, 2 months? Like, there's just a lot of uncertainty. So it's good to kind of diversify the different places that you're at. So, hello, hello, hello. So, I still am a little bit sick. So I do have some throat lozenges. So sorry if you hear me. Yeah, January 19th. Yep. So let's go ahead and start with the TikTok order. And then again, I do want to go through the ABC lawsuit. That was one that we talked about a while ago. I thought I had more time, but they've settled. So we'll go into that a little bit too as well. Are you able to send alerts here? Yes, they should be hooked up. Let's ask the chat. Did anybody get a notification over here at all? Took me a minute to remember. Oh yeah, I know. Over here. Running around. Okay, Kaya, you did. You didn't. No notification, yes. Okay. Yeah, you might just double check your settings. I kind of again, I've had some weird business going on over here for a little bit, so now it should be up and running. But you did on TikTok. Yeah, I was over there for like 15 minutes, just telling everybody to come over here. Like, come over here. Okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah, just double check and make sure you've clicked on the notifications piece. I think there's different kinds of notifications as well, so... You told me you were here. Yes. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Oh, my goodness. Hello, Deborah. Good morning. Good afternoon. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Where are you at? 5, 6. It's like 1 in the morning there. Is that right? Oh, my goodness gracious. Just change my notifications to all. Okay, great. Yeah. Oh, hello. Hi, Carolyn. Welcome in. So we've got lots of fun things to talk about tonight without the onslaught of trolls. So I'm always happy about that. But let's go ahead and get started. I am going to lower my camera here because the chat is, I want to make sure the chat can see everybody here. So we don't really have that kind of chat issue that we have usually over on TikTok. So let me know, is this in frame well enough for everybody? I've got my computer here that's kind of sneaking in, but should be okay. 105, all right. I know I was close. Edited notifications, okay. Anyone else is getting an error message, have to refresh. Oh goodness. All right, well, yikes. Okay. Hello. All right, well, we got to kind of kick the tires here again. Oh my gosh, a little to the right. Okay, let me see here if I can get it sorted. All right, I see. I think we're there. All right. It's in frame. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. So this came out just yesterday, everybody, and this is TikTok Incorporated and ByteDance versus Merrick Garland in his official capacity as Attorney General of the United States. Of course, that is going to change in a few weeks. So here's my question. If it has to get shut down, basically, by the 19th, and Trump comes in and says to the AG, dismiss the case, that is possible. It is a possibility. But if they dismiss the case, then they would still have the law in place. So I'm not sure that would even have a very decent result. But it's something to think about, right? Because he will be taking office on the 20th. But also remember, he tried to do an executive order in order to get rid of the talk as well. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens here. All right, so let's dive in. There we go. Trying to make sure my paper's in frame. There we go. All right, so here are our judges that are present, and then here's the order. Upon considering the motions for a preliminary injunction of the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act, the response from the government, and the replies from the petitioners, it is ordered that the motions be denied. At the request of the parties, this court expedited its consideration of the case to ensure that there is an adequate time before the act's prohibitions take effect to request emergency relief from the Supreme Court. And oral arguments, again, consistent with the schedule proposed by the parties on December 6th of 2024, this court unanimously upheld the constitutionality of the act with respect to each claim presented by the petitioners and denied as moot the petitioner's alternate request for a temporary injunction and to appoint a special master. So they're just kind of taking us through, and again, these are the judges that have already been listening to this and being involved in this. The petitioners now seek a temporary pause in order to create time for further deliberation. They argue the injunction will permit the Supreme Court to consider this case in a more orderly fashion and give the incoming administration time to determine its position on this exceptionally important matter. The petitioners are not, however, merely seeking a stay of this court's order, but an injunction against the enforcement of a presumptively valid act. That's the kicker here. A valid act of Congress. And then we're citing case law. Such a temporary injunction against enforcement is in reality a suspension of an act delaying the date selected by Congress to put its chosen policies into effect. And they're citing the Heart of Atlanta Motel, which is one of the biggest discrimination cases that we had coming out of the 60s. That is particularly true here because the act reflects a deliberate choice on the part of Congress and the president to set a firm 270-day clock, subject to one and only one extension of up to 90 days granted by the president if certain conditions are satisfied, after which the prohibitions of the act take effect with respect to TikTok. So it looks like they can ask for a 90-day extension from Biden still. But will they do that? We do not know. And we do not know what Biden will do. He's kind of getting a little rebellious. I'm here for it, everybody. Biden's like, I'm leaving. I got stuff to do. Has anyone else noticed that? He's like, I think today, that one of the stories I heard today was that he's like selling off parts of the wall at an auction. Did anybody else see that? He's like, okay, we still have some parts and some bits and bobs. So, give me a number. Give me a number. We'll let you know if you want it. I love it. I just love it. I'm like, go for it, man. Go for it. All right. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Dark branding. It's possible. It's very possible. Michael Cohen. Oh, that's a good question, but I would say no. I don't think so. I don't think he will. The petitioners have not identified any case in which a court, after rejecting a constitutional challenge to an act of Congress, has enjoined the act from going into effect, while review is sought in the Supreme Court. The petitioners rely upon their claims under the First Amendment to justify preliminarily enjoining the act. As to those claims, this court has already unanimously concluded the act satisfies the requirements of the First Amendment under heightened scrutiny. In light of that decision, the time available to the petitioners to seek further review in the Supreme Court and the interest in preserving the Supreme Court's discretion to determine whether and what extent to grant an interim injunctive relief while the court considers a petition for a writ of certiorari, a temporary injunction of the act from this court is unwarranted. All right. Yeah, I know. I know. That's the big question, isn't it? Like, why are you going after TikTok instead of going after some of the other places? And the answer is pretty simple. And that's because there is some connection with China. I mean, it's hard to kind of cover that up. That's what this is all about. Is they don't understand how it works, and somehow are thinking that this would be a national security issue. Meanwhile, we're like, there's a whole bunch of other issues. Why can't you take care of those? So, yeah, it's definitely a problem. I'm struggling, and also we have to remember too that the amount of power that the government takes when they feel that it's a national security issue can, be pretty devastating. We had the USA Patriot Act in place after the September 11th, and that was like, oh my gosh, that was extreme amount of power. It has expired. It has all fizzled out. That act has. But when it comes to national security, they really use that as a way to just do whatever they want, and it's pretty worrisome. Yeah, Singaporean. There is some connection with ByteDance here. If you go back enough layers, then there is some connection with China, but it certainly isn't as much. The argument that they're making is that because China has, a little bit of skin in the game here, at any point, China could be like, okay, I want all the information you've ever collected, and there wouldn't be anything they could do about it. So, yeah. Did you see the wall? The walls for sale. Oh my gosh, it's cracking me up, everybody. Seriously, I've been thinking about it. I'm like, well, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I know. The other thing too, though, is there's actually a law that was put into place stating that any excess materials for the wall need to be sold. So he's complying with the law, but it's also hilarious. Oh my goodness. So yes, I think keep an eye out here. One thing that I noticed too is that I'm not sure if you all are, I would assume everybody should be subscribed to V Under the Desk News. She's amazing. They're amazing. And I adore the channel. And they've been doing a lot of stuff explaining how this is all working, what you can do, how to help creators, and those kinds of things. So go check out Under the Desk News because there's a lot of great information that they're putting out for us. And I'm very thankful for that. So that's the update on the TikTok situation, everyone. He was 4 when he became, yeah, yeah, but it's hard to know exactly what any of that's going to translate into reality. So we'll have to, I'm not sure about that. All right, everybody, which one should we do next? I've got the ABC case. I've got the response for the dismissal in New York criminal case, and I've got Chesbro. Which one? How much fun? I know. Like, we're starting the bidding at $1. What can I get for $1? I certainly can't get eggs for $1. $10. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's really funny. Oh, all right. All right. Yeah, ABC settlement. Okay. That sounds great. That's what I've got. I'm literally holding on to the document as you're saying that. So I do not have all the details of the settlement. I do have the notice of settlement, but let me take you through and kind of briefly skip through what this lawsuit is about, everyone. I know this angle's not great, but I've got to have my computer set in a certain way so I can see it. So I apologize for that, everybody. But response from Trump, right? So the New York filed saying this should not be dismissed, and we kind of went through that. Now, Mr. Trump has filed a reply saying yes, it should be dismissed, and that just came out. All right, so we've got again, you know that he filed it because he wrote president against the ABC News and George Stephanopoulos, and this was the big one that got me. It was because of some words that he was saying. Yeah, really, Deborah. Oh my gosh, he's losing his on the ABC capitulation. Well, it's weird. It's weird. Let me walk you through this case. Then you tell me if it sounds strong or not. So this was filed here. So it's an action arising from defendant's transmission and publication of intentionally false and defamatory statements made to numerous third parties about plaintiff Trump. More specifically, as set forth in greater detail below, on Sunday, March 10th of 2024, defendant George Stephanopoulos, during an airing of his weekly television show, This Week with George Stephanopoulos, falsely stated on several occasions that plaintiff had been liable by multiple juries for the rape of Miss E. Jean Carroll. These statements were and remain false and were made by the defendant, Stephanopoulos, with actual malice or with a reckless disregard for the truth, given that defendant Stephanopoulos knows that these statements are patently and demonstrably false. Indeed, the jury expressly found that plaintiff did not commit rape. Again, there's this semantics issue going on in New York. And as demonstrated below, defendant George Stephanopoulos was aware of the jury's findings in this regard, yet still falsely stated otherwise. Defendant Stephanopoulos made these defamatory statements, which were communicated and published to third parties within the scope and course of his employment or contractual relationship with the other defendants, with his intent to harm plaintiff, given that inter alia defendant Stephanopoulos was and is aware of the truth regarding the determinations made by these subject juries, and also because his defamatory statements appear to have been prepared in advance and were written on notes that he was reading from while making these defamatory statements. Defendant, American Broadcasting Companies, participated in the publishing of the false and defamatory statements made by defendant and or otherwise authorized, approved, or consented to defendant Stephanopoulos making the false and defamatory statements about plaintiff. Plaintiff has suffered and will continue to suffer harm as a direct result of defendant's conduct. So that's kind of the quick explanation here. And again, we get this issue when the people in the legal world, we don't categorize things like a rape. That's not a crime. Rape is not a crime. What is a crime is SA. So S assaults are crimes. And that's because we have to have some kind of a way to put it in with our criminal code. So it falls under an assault, an unwanted assault. Unwanted touching is an assault. And so here we have a specific kind of assault. That's what it is. And so in New York, when they're going through and they're pleading this out and they're working on this, it is the same thing. It's just, more commonly referred to. Like, we don't say very often, I'm going to charge you with conversion. We say we're going to charge you with theft. It's the same thing. And in the legal world, conversion and theft can be used interchangeably. So that's why for me, I'm like, dude, what? But apparently that's more inflammatory. Is the corn safe, VC? Oh my gosh. VC, you're killing me. Oh my goodness. All right. Yes, the corn is safe in the backyard. Oh my goodness. All right, everybody. In case you have missed it, I've been struggling a little bit with my Hulk rage on the talk. And so, of course, all of my dear subscribers remember that I throw things out in the backyard when I get frustrated. So they were asking. About that. All right. So, right. Yeah, that's funny. That's so funny. All right, everyone's safe, hopefully. It's a rough show over there right now on the TikTok. Man, there's some crazy people out there. Crazy. Don't throw the corn. Oh my gosh. No, I just tried to pick the least favorite item in my cupboard. Oh my goodness gracious. That explains why they use that term. Well, exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say here. So if you are studying for the bar exam that you're taking in February, you're going to need to know what conversion is. Let me just make sure. Let me just make sure. just checking something here. So, right. Yeah, conversion. I just wanted to make sure I was right about that, everybody. I don't want to tell you something bad. Right. It is. It's conversion. I was correct. Yay, go me. I love it when I'm right. Woohoo. Yes, so it's literally called conversion. But in reality, we would call it theft. All right. So if you are suing for conversion, you would put in conversion. But if you were criminally charged, we would charge it as theft. All right. So it's very similar. It's very similar to that kind of a situation. Our criminal codes define things, and use different words. So wouldn't conversion be offense? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Conversion is taking someone else's property. $15 million. Well, right. So let's keep going through so I can show you a little bit more. Here's jurisdiction and venue here. So we have a quote out of the decision for battery. Did Miss Carroll prove by preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Trump had raped Miss Carroll? And then there was a check that said no. And that again is because of how they're defining that in New York. All right. So, and actually it looks like they even use battery language. A lot of places only would call this an assault. Other places use battery. Some people blend them together. So it's kind of like one of those technical situations where we're just kind of messing around in the legal area. Isn't the same case I'm thinking of? I just got here. Is this a defamation case with ABC and yes, this is exactly right, VC. Yes, this is where he's suing George Stephanopoulos and George Stephanopoulos' boss because of comments that he made on air. Right. Yeah, exactly. Instead of dragging it out for years and years. Well, right. And yeah, I think there's a lot of things at play here. All right. So, walking through the rest of his complaint, the jury made a finding of sexual assault and, as a result, found for Carroll on the battery claim and defamation claim. The Carroll 2 verdict is currently the subject of an appeal brought by plaintiff here. Shortly after Carroll 2 jury verdict, Carroll sought to amend her complaint in Carroll 1 due to the issuance of the verdict. Notably, in the amended complaint, Carroll replaced every mention of rape in the initial complaint with sexual assault, given that Carroll 2 jury did not make a finding of rape in its verdict. So she did change that language around, probably because the language was so confusing. A jury trial took place January 18th, January 22nd, January 25th, January 26th. On January 26th, the jury issued its verdict on the single count complaint for defamation in Carroll 1, finding in favor of Carroll. So the verdict in Carroll 1 is currently subject of an appeal. Carroll 1 jury undeniably did not find plaintiff liable for rape, given the limited nature of the single defamation claim here. So he's going through again and saying that the R word is not what was written in the decision, and the jury didn't vote on it, so it wasn't allowed to be used. But this is hinky to me, everybody. This is very, very hinky. And for me, I find it really suspicious that ABC settled this case the way they did. I mean, of course, it's going to take some time. It's going to be bad press, and they're probably not going to be able to have any ABC cameras at the briefings, I mean, I think it's one of those situations where they're like, well, let's just cut our losses and move forward. But when you have this kind of a situation, you can't just cut your losses, man. That's like a big deal. So here's where they're calling out his defamation. So here we go. Throughout the interview, Stephanopoulos wrongly asserted as supposed fact the plaintiff was found liable for rape more than 10 times as follows. Yeah, I think there is some part of it where the media people, the big media people are like, oh, we got to stay on the good side. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, I don't think they realize how their viewers are going to be like, well, we got to go now. We have to go. Yeah, here we go. So, quote, you endorsed Donald Trump for president. Judges in 2 separate juries have found him liable for rape and for defaming the victim of that rape. Donald Trump has been found liable for rape by a jury. Donald Trump has been found liable for defaming the victim of that rape by a jury. It's been affirmed by a judge. I'm asking you a question about why you endorsed someone who's been found liable for rape. It was a civil court that found him liable for rape. I'm questioning your political choices because you're supporting someone who's been found liable for rape. Why are you supporting someone who's been found liable for rape? They are afraid to come forward, as you said, because they are defamed by those who commit the rape. That's what Donald Trump has been found guilty of doing. You don't found guilty. I would say this one's questionable because we are in a civil case. You don't find it offensive that Donald Trump has been found liable for rape? Well, actually, what you're doing is defending a man who's been found liable for rape. In fact, it has been shown to be rape. The judge affirmed that it was, in fact, rape. Donald Trump was found to have committed rape. That's just a fact. You're comfortable with Donald Trump being found liable for rape, even though he's been found liable for rape. Oh, my goodness gracious. Given the actual language and findings of the jury's verdicts rendered in Carol 1 and Carol 2, Stephanopoulos' numerous statements that the plaintiff has been found liable for rape were false and defamatory statements. Okay. I think, again, we've got kind of a semantics issue going here. Half an hour ago looking, oh no, sorry about that. Yeah, I went on and said hi and then come on over to where the party is. Oh my goodness. All right, so next, the aftermath. So this is the next thing. There has to be some kind of harm. And with Mr. Trump, it's like, well, how are you actually harmed? How did this language harm you in a way that you are entitled to damages? All right, so it's talking about the aftermath of the interview. Since making such false, malicious, and defamatory statements, many news and press outlets have continued to quote Stephanopoulos by wrongfully broadcasting the plaintiff was found liable for rape, although those other places have not been sued. I'm just putting that out there. For example, as depicted by the screenshot below, following the interview, journalist Aaron Rupert, who is known for his presence on social media platform X, and who maintains a website called Public Notice, wherein he covers politics and media, publicly defended Stephanopoulos' position and praised him for holding his ground during the interview. All right. Yeah, exactly. How was he harmed? Yep. Here's another one. One post was reposted upwards of 1,100 times, as depicted by the following screenshot, in which Rupert quotes Stephanopoulos as follows: "Why are you supporting someone who's been found liable for rape?" So there's that. Anytime you're getting a screenshot like this in a complaint, it's nothing good's gonna be going on. This is some pretty serious stuff. World already talked about it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, exactly. How was he harmed? Yeah, that's a good question. Another post contained in the thread was reposted upwards of 1,400 times, the third post, in which Rupert quotes Stephanopoulos as follows: "Well, actually, what you're doing is defending a man who was found liable for rape. I don't understand how you could do that. You and me both, man." Another post contained in the thread was reposted upwards of 1,300 times, as depicted in the following screenshot. So we have another screenshot here and here. When they're just looking at the numbers, you probably can't see it here, but if it walks like a duck, oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. Oh, here we go. So let's read a couple more bits here. And this is the complaint that was filed. The Daily Beast, relying on the defamatory statements made by Stephanopoulos, also quoted the many times Stephanopoulos falsely repeated the plaintiff was found liable for rape, and described the exchange as Stephanopoulos' questioning how Mace could endorse the plaintiff, whom a jury found liable for the rape of writer E. Jean Carroll. On March 11th, Morning Joe segment, MSNBC covered the interview and replayed a portion of the interview during its broadcast, wherein Stephanopoulos repeatedly falsely says the plaintiff was found liable of rape by a jury. So hold on, everybody. Morning Joe brought in those comments. So why didn't he sue MSNBC? Let's ask that. Well, riddle me that answer. Why hasn't he sued Morning Joe for this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's right here. They've got evidence that Morning Joe showed something that was not true, according to Mr. Trump. So why not go after them? I'm curious. I'm looking at you, chat. I'm looking. Morning Joe went and kissed the. There you go, right, Cynthia? Everyone's like, what the heck are you doing? It's probably because he's got a dozen lawsuits waiting in the back to bring out. Now Morning Joe is done. It's like, do you want to save yourself or what? But yeah, I think that's part of it. I think he's got a lot of things that are brewing for a lot of different people. So Daily KOS released a story wherein it stated that plaintiff has been found liable for rape and defamation in civil courts in the aftermath of Stephanopoulos' defamatory statements in the interview. It's about the money. Yeah, did they have brunch the morning before? I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. But if they're already dragging in other places, it seems to me, I would be surprised if he hadn't looked into every single station that aired that. They would have done that. That was a joke. Well, you never know, Kate. You never know. It could be. The world's completely crazy at the moment. So it could be. It could be. It's okay. It's okay. We just don't even know anymore what's happening. All right, so count one, defamation per se. Plaintiff repeats and realleges all of the allegations. Unprivileged statements made by defendants to others about plaintiffs were false and defamatory. So there is that, count one, and then count two is defamation per quad. Unprivileged statements. At the time the statements were made by defendants, defendant knew or should have known that they were false and defamatory. Defendants published such statements negligently without knowledge of the falsity of the statements and or with reckless disregard of the truth or falsity. And of course, Mr. Trump will be very familiar with that language because he is being sued multiple times for defamation. So here we go. Wherefore, the plaintiff demands a judgment against defendants, the ABC company, and George Stephanopoulos for damages, punitive damages, which I'm not sure what level we had for punitive court costs and such other relief as the court deems proper. So what I've heard, again, I don't have any kind of validation for or corroboration. What I heard was it was $15 million going to some kind of a nonprofit group. So it's not going to be going to Mr. Trump. And then I think there was like $1 million for attorney's fees, I believe. So I think this is actually how the breakdown went. Jim Acosta. Okay, wonder why Trump isn't going after. Oh my gosh, Cynthia, I'm so worried about Stormy. Is anybody else worried about Stormy? I mean, like if she needs a place to stay, like I would be opening the door. Pull us back from the. Well, I'm happy to help as much as I can. Yeah, I'm worried about Stormy as well. I mean, that was some hardcore business going on there. I mean, that was a lot of testifying. That was a lot of, putting herself into a dangerous situation. So I hope she'll be all right. She said she was going to leave the country. Well, she needs to move. I hope. Oh, I'm sure she did. And Hawk are our safe ports in the storm. Well, of course. Oh, we're happy to. I can't speak for Hawk though. Oh my gosh, everyone, let's take a minute. All right, I need to share this with somebody. Let's take a minute. Did anyone catch Hawk's first post this morning? The very first post he did. I don't know. I am on a lot, so I look around and I found this post from Hawk, and he woke up and his hair looked like he had just been electrocuted. I was like, dude, don't bring the radio into the shower. Did anyone notice that? Yes, hair. It was just so big. It was like a porcupine. Like, mad respect for being able to tame the monster. I totally understand that. But it just cracked me up. I was like, oh my God, Hawk. You may be sharing too much, Hawk. You gotta put the hair away. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then of course, he went and came back and was like, here it is, it had been all tamed. I'm like, that's a skill set. You need to market. You can get your hair from point A to point B. Like, you got some talent, my man. Oh, anyway, I know it's off topic, but it just was cracking me up. It's like in my head, it's like spiked up hair. Oh my gosh, it was giving 80s, everyone. I was like, you need to spray some green in there. Yeah, put the hair away, man. Oh, anyway, I'm sorry, everyone. I got tears going down my face. I can't help it. I mean, I know the hair struggle. And that to me was like, good for you. Oh my gosh. All right. So let's back to business, everybody. That was the complaint. So this is the settlement that just came out today. So this was just today. And it says joint notice of settlement, Trump against the defendants, by and through undersigned counsel, hereby give notice to the court that the parties have settled this action. The parties have entered into a written settlement agreement, a copy of which is attached here too. So, it's here too. And I was looking for that. Here, just one second. Everybody, let me double check and see what we've got here. There is an exhibit. Okay, give me a second here. This looks like this just got put in. So, I'm printing it right now. Do you want me to go over the settlement? Is anyone interested in that? I'm printing it. Is this a photo? Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh, I wish it was, but it's not. So I am printing out the settlement. Should we take a little bit of time to go through that? I see ducks. VC. So funny. Oh my gosh. I tell you, I don't know what it is, but if you have hair going like that. Oh my gosh. Yes. All right. Well, hold on. Let me grab it real quick, everyone. All right. Here we go. Hot off the presses. The settlement. Here we go. All right. So this is just coming down again, just today. Well, yeah, I just I just know the daily struggle of the hair. I know the hair struggle. I feel seen. Like, if you're struggling, so am I. It's funny. I find it hilarious. Right. A certain type of fortitude. If you're just being your authentic self, go for it. But if you're going to do that without hair tips, I'm like, you can't just show that and not explain how you fixed it. All right. Back to business. Sorry, everybody. Back to business. All right, here's the settlement agreement. All right, this was, again, ABC involved here. The settlement and release agreement is entered into as of December 13th by and between Trump and the defendants. Here, next it says recital. So, whereas he needs, yeah, exactly, VC. Like, what product are you using, man? Is that in your shop? You need to start. Oh my God, that'd be amazing if he made this hairspray or hair cream, whatever it was like Hawk's hair. I would buy that. Like, take my money, Hawk. Take it. I want that. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, everybody. It's so funny. I'm just getting such a kick out of it. I can't help it. All right. One moment, please. Of course. K. Of course you can. No problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all need to laugh. All right, let's dive back in. Hawk's hair is taking up too much of her time here. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. Whereas on March 10th of 2024, ABC broadcasted an interview between GS, see, they're not even spelling out Stephanopoulos anymore, and United States Representative Nancy Mace on This Week with George. Republished the interview online and other media and quoted from the interview in March 10th online and so on. So we're just going back here. So where the parties desire to resolve the action without further litigation and therefore have agreed to compromise, settle, and release any and all claims between plaintiff and defendants that arise out of the interview or action to avoid the further expense, inconvenience, and distraction of litigation. So with that though, everyone, I feel like I need to, oops, that's all right. I've got another constitution. Yikes, that would hit the floor. So we still have, let's just make sure we know where we're at here. The E. Jean Carroll cases 1 and 2 are being appealed, but those are for defamation, of course. We also have, let's see. Oh, that class action suit was settled. Hold on, we still have, oh, here we go. Nope, that's Giuliani. We still have, there's 2 people. I'm sorry, everyone. We have the Central Park 5 still going, and then we have the Isaac case still going. He still has open civil defamation cases against him and copyright issues against him. So I'm wondering now, because we're seeing this settle out, if he's trying to settle those other cases too before he gets into the White House, just to take care of it. And I'm sure he's using everything he possibly can. Like, I'm not going to have time to do this. There's no way I can, go forward as a plaintiff, blah, blah, blah. He's using everything he can. So they're trying to settle these cases, get them off of the desk for when he hits the White House, is what I'm assuming is happening. So, oh, yeah. All right, here we go. So contribution. ABC shall cause a transfer in the amount of 15 million US dollars to be made to a presidential foundation and museum to be established by or for the plaintiff. Hold on a minute. What? Okay. Transfer the amount of $15 million to be made to a presidential foundation and museum to be established by or for plaintiff as presidents of the United States of America have established in the past in full settlement and satisfaction of plaintiff's released claims as defined in paragraph 5A of this agreement. Whoa. Yikes. Oh my gosh. Last time before entering the White House. I agree. Yeah, he did. He was running around. So this is, oh, thank you. That's weird. The charitable contribution shall be made by defendants within 10 calendar days of the effective date of this agreement to an escrow account to be established by plaintiff's counsel, who will serve as the escrow agent. Oh my gosh, for this specific charitable contribution. Within 10 calendar days after plaintiff or his counsel present written confirmation that the appropriate entity has been established by the plaintiff and its 501c3 status has been recognized by the IRS, defendant shall authorize the escrow agent in writing to release the charitable contribution to the subject entity. So, I guess it's, yeah. They're sponsoring the Trump Museum, I think is accurate. I think that's an accurate description. But isn't that nice when you can just do whatever you want when you can get this kind of money? Do we have bingo cards for who will be indicted for misuse of the funds? Not yet. We'll have to put that one together. And we'll know about Trump and his charities. Well, exactly. Like, oh my gosh, they're gonna need some security at that place. I'm not saying, that it's because of me. I'm just saying, you start putting up stuff with his name on it, you're gonna need some security. Defendant's statements within 1 calendar year of effective date of this agreement. Defendant shall publicly publish the following statement by adding it as an editor's note at the bottom of the March 10th, 2024 online article. All right, so this is a power play too. This is kind of gross. Quote, ABC News and George Stephanopoulos regret statements regarding President Donald J. Trump made during an interview by George Stephanopoulos with Rep. Nancy Mace on ABC this week on March 10th of 2024. That's kind of gross. That's a power play to do that. Yeah, ew. Okay. So, payment of reasonable attorney's fees. So, shall cause payment of $1 million for attorney's fees, and then dismissal of the action. Party shall file a notice of settlement, shall attach this agreement, and within 5 calendar days, defendant's payment to plaintiff's counsel of both amounts set forth in paragraph 1 and 3. Plaintiff shall file a stipulation of dismissal with prejudice with the court and take whatever other actions are necessary to ensure that the action is dismissed in its entirety. Yikes. Yeah, this is gross. Releases, plaintiff's release. Plaintiffs hereby release and forever discharges the defendant together with their predecessors, successors, direct or indirect parent companies, direct or indirect subsidiary companies, companies of their common control with any of the foregoing affiliates and assigns, and their past, present, and future officers, directors, shareholders, interest holders, members, partners, attorneys, agents, employees, managers, representatives, assigns, and successors in interest, and all persons acting by, through, under, or in concert with them, and each of them for any acts or omission related to or arising from the interview of the action. Collectively, the plaintiff's release claims. Plaintiff is not releasing defendants of their obligation under this agreement. So I think this is a really good example of how they probably, kind of bullied the situation out. They're like, look, we pulled 5 people in to be defendants, but if you keep pushing us, we'll bring in everybody. We'll bring in the person that did George's makeup. We don't care. And the chair that he was sitting in when he said it. Like, that's where we can go. That's the road we can go down if you don't agree. Right. Well, and again, VC, we've got those issues here where we're using 2 terms for the same thing. So again, it'd be conversion versus theft. So the problem, again, another one of the problems I see here is that if they're settling this case out, then rather it be a terminology that needs to be discussed and fixed. They just gave up. They've just given up on it. Only his books in his library. True. Trashy museum. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, don't know about that. I'm not going to go there. I will say that today. It's a pretty good bet. I'm not going to go there. All right. So representations and warranties here. Cooperation. Agreement is legally binding. Entire agreement interpretation. Waiver of modifications. No modifications can be made. Provisions are severable. Counterparts and copies and effective dates. And the notices here, and it's signed. So there you go. There's George Stephanopoulos' initials. He probably is not very happy about that. This whole thing is just kind of, in my opinion, gross. And, but if you're in a business like ABC, you're going to try to do what's going to be the least damaging, right? So I suppose, fighting the President of the United States for calling him a rapist, I guess, is one step too far for them. I'm disappointed, ABC. You've disappointed me for sure. I'm very disappointed. Again, because the case, I think, is quite strong. But, they don't want to spend the money to force it through the courts over the next 5 years. That's their prerogative. Yeah. He'd have to pay taxes on it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he would. That's why they're setting it up as a, was it 501, 301C? I can't remember. The church one. It's the church tax code. That's what I love now. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a lot. All right, everybody. So next up, we have the reply in further support of the motion to dismiss his New York criminal case. All right, so he filed a motion to dismiss, like way after the amount of time that he was entitled to that, and said, "Hey, presidential immunity, I'm good to go." Then DA Bragg was like, "No, that's not what we're going to do here," in a very well written 80-page response. And then now Mr. Trump, the one that filed the motion, gets to reply. So he gets the last word. So this is his filing where he's saying that the motion to dismiss is the most appropriate. I came in a little bit late. What was the general agreement? So yeah, for the ABC case, sorry about that. I'm just like, clicking along here. So $15 million into escrow for Mr. Trump to use as some kind of a presidential charitable situation. $15 million, $1 million to the attorneys for attorneys' fees. And, that's it. That's pretty much it. Didn't the judge make a statement to that? Yes. And so the other question is, like, well, why can't you go after the judge? And because the judge has immunity from saying something within the purview of his own job. So if the judge goes out and says, look, this, and he did, goes out and says, look, this is how our code is written. It is this instead of that. He's covered by immunity, but Stephanopoulos doesn't have any immunity. There's no like qualified immunity for him. Yep. All right, so next up here we have, again, his reply. We're just going to skim through this, all right? Because as we all know, Trump filings are not particularly accurate, which is fine, apparently. That's how we do things now. So here's our table of contents. Again, this is the New York criminal case, everybody. So criminal case. And he's trying to dismiss it. He's saying immediate dismissal is necessary under the Presidential Transition Act. New York's feigned ignorance of the Supremacy Clause demonstrates the importance of the constitutional restriction on biased, incompetent prosecutors. Well, that's just mean. That's just a mean thing to say. Presidential immunity categorically forecloses further proceedings. Which again, this, the immunity case did not say you're immune from everything. As they said, if it's a personal situation, there is no immunity. If it's not an official act, so was it an official presidential act for him to write a check to Mr. Cohen? Was that a presidential act? No, it was not. So, and then things that went on to his business records. Again, does that have anything to do with him being president? No, it does not. So immunity doesn't attach, but they're sure trying to make it seem like it will. New York conflated distinct strands of presidential immunity. The DOJ's dismissal of federal lawfare strongly supports dismissal. That's not true. DOJ dismissed because the policy is to not go forward on criminal case against the president. New York is bound by their concessions in Vance, which there was another Trump v. Vance case, and it's not related because it's not. President Trump's entitled to categorical presidential immunity. I don't even know what that is. New York mischaracterized the unacceptable burdens on the presidency. New York's politically motivated interests do not override presidential immunity. I don't know what that means. And then number 4, New York's proposed accommodations are unconstitutional and lawless. No. The zombie case must die now. New York's dream scenario of abatement by death is not an option. The court cannot resolve this motion by violating President Trump's sentencing rights. God, he's already yelling at the judge. Oh, this makes me bleh. The remaining statute factors also support dismissal. So this is the code section that they're trying to get it dismissed under. President Trump's 210-20 arguments are not procedurally barred. So they're like, that is not procedurally barred. So what if we filed it 2 months after the deadline for filing it? It's not. I'm special. New York's lack of respect for Congress and the Second Circuit is not persuasive. What the heck is this? That's a ad hominem. I feel like they're unable to do anything other than personally attack people. So, yeah. So this, yeah. So she could probably tell I disagree, but he said it out. So here we go. We're just taking a peek again. Senator Fetterman's summary of the behavior is apt. Immediate dismissal is necessary under Presidential Transition Act and sitting president immunity. You know what else is in that Presidential Transition Act? There it goes hand in hand with the fact that you need to like sign an ethics code and explain what you're gonna do. Those are also included. Claims immunity. Oh, I know. Yeah, and again, we're pretty far. We're pretty far down the road for this, and it has been multiple times dismissed, the immunity question. So again, it's not applicable here. And then we're going through here again. I don't want to spend too much time actually reading this because it's probably false. And I'm not a big fan of filing stuff and then trying to tell me how it's true. Like, let me just file this and then I'll figure out a way to make it so that it's true. Like, that's not really what's supposed to happen. Had to ask for seating for his jamming squad. Goodness. Oh, all right, so skipping, because that's a lot. So let's read the conclusion. Here we go. Here's the conclusion, everybody. For the foregoing reasons, as well as those set forth in President Trump's December 2nd, 2024 brief, which isn't attached, the court should immediately dismiss the indictment and vacate the jury's verdicts. Just that, just these things for a state case. State New York case. Oh my gosh, everyone. Yikes. Oh my gosh, if that's not what's supposed to happen, why is it happening? Well, it's not supposed to. There are a lot of things that happen that aren't supposed to happen because we're all just like, if it's not on fire, we're not going to put it out at this point. Yeah, I agree. So he's just trying to repeat enough times. Exactly. He's trying to say it over and over and over again. So basically, this is just his response saying that the government's request here to not dismiss it is not valid. So yeah, no accountability. Well, again, accountability looks like different things to different people. But yeah, no significant accountability that people can hang their hat on. True. Take my word, bro. I've got it in the concept of a brief. That's why they didn't attach the brief, because it's conceptual. A brief. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Is everyone accountable for anything? Well, again, you have to figure out what exactly accountability looks like. Because in my opinion, I'm just going to put this out there for everybody, since we're over here, we're over here in the nice place. I'll just put it out there. If you think about it, like, how old is this man? What's he, like 74? How old is Trump? I can't remember. But he's like, 70s, early 70s. And you think about all the people that are in their 70s, and then you think to yourself, like, what is it they really want to do? 78? Oh my gosh, he's even older. Oh my gosh, seriously? Oh my gosh, I thought he was at least on the front end. Oh my gosh. All right, so he's 78 years old. Oh my gosh. All right, so, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I thought he was, okay, well, whatever. So if you think about it, I don't care who you are, where you live, what you do, and you think of a 78-year-old person that right now, what's that person doing? I mean, I know they're having to get extra jobs, but I mean, just think about it though. If you're 78 years old, do you want to have a camera on you 24/7 and every single thing you say and do is recorded for history? I keep thinking about how be careful what you wish for because you might get it. And I feel like it's that in this scenario. But don't get me wrong, there's going to be a lot of damage done. We're going to take some hits for sure. But also, I look at it like this old man in the White House is going to be stumbling around, and every single thing he says and does is going to be recorded. And, another thing when you think about probation or house arrest, when we were thinking about that, all of the things that he would have to do for a criminal probation, he's going to have to do as president. Now, he's not going to have to drop UAs, don't get me wrong, but where he can go, when he can go, what he can do, any kind of a trip outside of the White House has to be this huge production. If he wants to do something in the middle of the night, forget about it, forget about it. So it's like a probation situation, only with a lot of power to like ruin stuff. So that's one of the ways I've been thinking about it, is that he didn't like it the first time. He didn't like to be told what he could and couldn't do, right? He tried to jump over the Secret Service guy to get a hold of the wheel. So I mean, that's kind of how I look at it as well. He did it before. He knows. Well, we had a slow start the first time. We had a slow start because he had no idea that he had to have like cabinet people. Oh my gosh. And right now, yeah, he's got Secret Service, but he's also got, people wanting to have him out. Always said, as long as they're still talking about you, it's good, whether it's good or bad. Yeah, interesting. I can see the Penguin saying that. I can see that. I wonder if he'll go, well, it's possible. There's a lot of things here, that we have to remember. The president, first of all, does not make laws, so no laws can be made by him. That's important. And number two is that he can't himself pick out who defendants are going to be. So he can't say, go and arrest this person. If there's not probable cause, there's not probable cause. So, I think that's kind of important. Prove the other country that you visit would have to show permission to enter the country. Well, right. And I think people, my gosh, if he felt like he was getting, not like he wasn't getting a fair shake the last time, this one's going to be really bad. He got what he wanted, not going to jail. Yeah, he did. A lot of countries that don't allow felons. Yeah, that's true. Well, and he's just kind of being a jerk to Canada, in my opinion. So like they wouldn't want him in either. Like if you can't be polite, don't come on over, eh? Oh my gosh. He's going to win sound. I don't know about that. I don't know that any of these cases can be guaranteed one way or the other. Really, I just don't know that can happen. He went to France. They made an exception. Well, yeah, but see, look what happened to France. Huh? Is it related? If he comes to your country, then your whole country's government's done. It's over. It's over. Oh my goodness gracious. That's so funny. It's sad, but funny. Yeah, transition to AI. What people want. Yeah, it's not gonna be great. It's not gonna be great, but it's also not going to be the end of the world. And a lot of people. That's one of the reasons why I've been hulking out these last few days. Is people are like, well, he won't follow the rules. He can't follow the rules, and so I'm like, well, fine, but you should still know what the rules are for the northern states if he does put up the tariffs and cap. Yeah. It's coming, everybody. The storms are coming. I have no doubt about that. The storm is definitely coming. So here's my prediction. Because nobody asked. So here's my prediction. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. So in his first 100 days, number one, he's going to pardon significant Jan 6ers. So you pick the worst of the worst, he's going to pardon them. I have no doubt in my mind about that. Next, he's going to fire everyone he can within the executive branch. So if you're working in the executive branch and you could get fired, like you don't have some kind of protection, you're going to get canned. So that's just going to happen. So our federal employees are going to take a pretty big hit, in my opinion. The next thing that I think he's going to do, so we're firing, we're pardoning. I think he's going to try to he might, well, let me think about this, how I can phrase it. Cries in Michigan, oh, I know. He's just going to fire half of the civil staff and see if the judiciary gets involved. Yeah, I agree, because it takes time, doesn't it? It takes some time for it to all get processed. Yeah. So, and I think he's going to figure out a way to go play golf all the time again. Remember, there was a lot of golfing involved last time. Oh yeah, I remember now. His executive orders are all going to come back. All of them will come back into play that have been rescinded by Biden. And then plus, we're going to have a whole bunch of new ones. And I think we're going to see that Heritage Foundation people just having free reign of the White House. So they're going to be all over the White House, is my prediction. Can you imagine how bad things would be if he actually knew the law? Oh my gosh, I know, right? I know. Ugh. Never had anyone call us. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not gonna be great. I think he's going to test them first. Right. So, Mr. Globa kind of irritated me because he said that Trudeau was weak for going to Florida. It's the job to look out for Canada. Yeah. Any country right now, everybody, and I think this is really important, any country in the world whose government is still functioning is not weak. Okay. So Canada, last I heard, still has a working government. So, I'm like, that's okay. You do what you need to do because your government needs to work. Although rumor has it that the Canadians are starting to get a little spicy up there. They're like, what's happening? Going after Biden and Pelosi. So that's a good question because I think, and a lot of people don't understand this, the Department of Justice isn't just like an attack dog for the president. There are legal standards that have to be met. And especially if you have a high caliber person who's incredibly wealthy, as both of them are, and can afford incredibly good attorneys. So I don't see that being successful. I think that's a great threat for him to use. But in reality, there's no legal basis for it. And the DOJ, they all take oaths. They all take oaths to the Constitution. Whether they respect that or not, it's a different question. But we still have, you still can't make bologna sandwiches up. And I think Trump thinks that you can't. Like, oh, here, just go get them. Charge the government. Yeah, exactly. The Secret Service will be staying in his hotels. I have no doubt about that. I was proud of how the non-conservative responded to Trump. Yeah. Presidential immunity. Well, true, but again, we don't know exactly what that means. Letitia James, no, she's good. I would say DA or AG. I guess she's a AG and a DA. Too many letters. She's pretty protected. She's almost an untouchable if you think about it, because if they're going to try to go after her federally for what she's doing at a state level, that's going to be pretty ugly, right? I think it's going to be pretty ugly. Oh, here I am, Justin. I'm live over here. He will adopt Musk. Now, I think Musk is a very interesting situation because we have this power play going on. And, for Trump, there can only be one alpha puppet. And that alpha puppet is Mr. Trump. So Elon also wants to be an alpha puppet, but that role has been taken. So at some point, he's going to be turned into a piñata. That's my thought. That's my thought. Take the oath on the 6th, or will he demand it be written? So that's constitutionally required. He has to, or he would be in violation of the Constitution. So I know a lot of people are worried about that, but we have very few requirements to be president. But one of those requirements is that you have to take that specific oath. The only way to change that is to add an amendment to the Constitution. So you have to do that. Yeah, from a puppet to a piñata is what I'm thinking for Mr. Musk at this point. Canadian friend says when U.S. What? I don't know what that. Oh, sorry, I'm missing it. So far hasn't put kids in place. Right, right. I don't think they want to be involved this time. What about Bragg? He's also an untouchable. It's so well known that these prosecutors, they've been suing each other off and on. Bragg's been he's been after Bragg for years, and there's defamation suits. There's all kinds of stuff that had been going on. Same with Letitia James. She also was having problems for years with Trump and him coming after her for defamation and suing and blah blah blah. So like this is just another day for her, and same for Bragg. It's just another day. Oh, Trump doesn't like me, he's coming for me. That's like a Wednesday for them, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, first to be deported. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, just useful until he's not useful anymore. I think so. And I think that's a perfect way to put anybody in Trump's world. Like you're good as long as you are, you know, doing what I need you to do. But if you change your mind, then you're done. You're out. He basically uses that cabinet meeting where he sits at the big table and like he forgets that this isn't a reality show. How can even be given non-existent job of just, the president can do whatever they want, right? So like we had Steve Bannon in there. We had all kinds of people last time that were just hanging out and getting all fussy about, security clearances, right? Omarosa was in there. He's had all kinds of people in there being, crazy bonkers. So you can put your crazy bonkers people in until they screw up because they're going to be under a magnifying glass, and then you're out. Yeah, Kushner. Yeah, I don't know about Jared. Jared's kind of might be better to just move away from that. Like he could be giving him information over the phone, like yo, here's what's going on. Do this, do that, blah blah blah. But he's got too much heat on him for them to put him into a cabinet position, in my opinion. In my opinion. Yeah. That's just my opinion. So yeah, I mean, things are going to be weird. It's going to be weird. And I don't use that term lightly because I just don't. But, I think it's going to be pretty. Yeah. Who will be the White House media spokesman? That's a great question. That's a really great question. I'm not sure. I really am not sure. I know he's having some struggles with some of the people, but again, they have to have Senate approval. The other thing too, though, everyone, is that the Senate is so close and the House are so close that it can really flip either way. There's really no solid majority. There's a majority enough to be able to dictate orders of committees and what level you come in on a committee. There's enough of a difference for that. But when it comes to actually voting on bills and laws, uh, I don't think it's going to be easy for anything to get passed through it. Everything's normal, everything's fine. No, that's not true. That's not true. This isn't fine. This is very frustrating and it's upsetting. And again, as we all know, it's hard to recognize the reality that hundreds of millions of people are fine with rape, they're fine with sexual assault. And that I think is really hard to wrap your head around. But it also demonstrates, what we see in the courts. We see our victims not being protected, and we see the defendants perpetrating the harm going free. Statistically, I mean, that's just how it happens. I mean, there's like it is just reflecting how our courts work. So that I think is one of the moments where you have to just acknowledge they're okay with that, and that's it. That was my soapbox. 5 years straight, really. Oh yeah, I mean, they had a lot of pills that were given out too, right? Everybody needs pills, apparently, because the doctor was handing out all the pills. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents. At least I think it's pretty reflective of our criminal justice system at this point. So I'm not too surprised. Actually believe that it never happened, that he has been the victim of a vindictive prosecution. Right. And let me tell you a little secret. Working in criminal world, doing criminal defense as well as prosecuting, there's always some kind of a conspiracy. The cop doesn't like me. The sheriff doesn't like me, whatever. You're just trying to do something to ruin it. Or 9 times out of 10, she doesn't like me and is trying to ruin my life, right? I mean, that's just a given when it comes to these kinds of offenses. Somebody's after you. That's why this is happening rather than your own behavior. Hmm. Right. Yeah, and it's not going to matter. Can he legally get rid of news outlets that are not praising him? No. Although Project 2025 does have a whole section on the media, on things that they want to change. But again, that would all have to go through Congress. They don't have the power. P25 is like a lot of bark, but without legitimate bite, unless Congress comes in and does it. So there's that. They're third graders. Right, right. They'll forgive anything. Right, exactly. I mean, it's really it's that moment of reality again. And I know a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, we're back in 1930s Germany," but I don't really think so. I feel like we're back in 1950s United States, where we have just people that are your neighbors and your friends and family, and they are not wanting to desegregate. If you think about it that way, we just haven't made much of an impact. We're still going forward, but it's slow because that's how our country's been. We've always been divided into two. It's always been that way. We've been divided into two sections. Those that are like, well, slavery is what I need in order to get my money. And the other one's just like, they're human beings. Stop treating them like that. We've always been divided, always. So that division is still there. It just looks a little bit different. So that's the other reason too, why I don't think we're going to have a civil war situation. Like, we actually had a civil war situation. We're not going to have that because we're fighting at a different level now. That's my opinion. That is just my opinion. Yeah, just my opinion on that one. Yeah, they will find. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't think so. Hopefully everything should be going and working. Yeah, one of the primary goals, speaking of Germany, if anyone wants to really talk about Germany, let's talk about it. One of the primary goals, right, is to split people and divide and choose a group of people that are no longer people that both sides can come together on getting rid of, right? And that's that division. If they can divide us, then, it's time for the bunker. But hopefully that won't happen. They have, even though they won, they're still, well, exactly, because the goal's not winning. The goal is to obtain as much power as possible and not recognizing that just by winning the presidency, you're not going to have the kind of power that you want. It's not a genie power, more heated now because the don't talk politics or religion rule went out the window. Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. Who had that rule? Who had that rule after the first term where you would just say to family, like, we're not talking about this. We're just not going to talk about it. And then you went about your life. And then now we're all back. Yeah. And they're like, don't talk about it. And we just don't have it anymore. We don't have kind of that fake allowance for, which I was a huge fan of. I'm like, hey, don't just, let's just move forward. But, now we're kind of cleaning out from under the rug and it's messy. It's very messy. Yeah, I think it's very, yeah, we got to can RFK do away with polio? No, he cannot. I just hope nobody lets him loose in a lab somewhere, because in all honesty, everybody, if he goes into one of these science labs, I mean, I've spent a lot of time in science labs against my will. If he starts like injecting himself with stuff, like, we're going to have a mutant situation, and I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for it. But if there ever was going to be someone who changed their chemistry based off of some other kind of like questionable shots and stuff, I think it's going to be him. And I'm worried. I'm worried. I'm like, don't let him get the elixir, you know, because he's crazy. Oh my goodness. You know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying, though. I mean, who does that? Who picks up stuff and does that? Oh my gosh. Right, right. Uh, well, exactly, Cynthia. Exactly right. Yeah. I mean, there's really no question about it. But again, it's just, in the criminal world, anytime you had an essay case, the biggest issue is convincing the jury that the defendant did something wrong. And the number one defense is consent. And we lose those cases, case after case after case. Now it's been better. It's been better the last 5, 10 years. But our jury represents society. And if our juries aren't convicting, it's showing that that's not a thing for them. And I think that really can translate into people voting for him. It's like, man, we don't really know. Maybe she consented, maybe she didn't. We don't really know, nor do we care to find out. So, it's fine. I think it's just very, it really sets the bar when you can see what they're doing. Then in question, absolutely, absolutely. Had that rule. We only stick to it on big holidays. That's funny. I love it. It's like, don't say against your will. Oh my gosh. No, he left. He's my significant other's like, I gotta go. He's at a pinball. He's at a pinball championship, all right? And I'm like, I can't go, man. I gotta go live. And he's like, well, you're gonna miss out. I'm like, all right, good luck. So he's playing some pinball tonight, and I think that's good. I think everybody should do that. Oh my gosh. Accidentally made himself a fly. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, yes, yes. That's some madness, everybody. I mean, seriously, I can't. Would never forgive anyone that voted for him because of, yes. Oh, and I agree. I agree, Heather. I had some very awkward moments myself at Thanksgiving. There is family, uh, bits of family that are just absolutely bonkers. And so it's like, yeah, I can't talk to you. I gotta go. I'm like, can you wrap that turkey up? Because I'm leaving. So I got a little thing of mashed potatoes, stuffing, turkey, this little container. I'm like, okay, bye. Oh my goodness gracious. You gotta just do what you gotta do. You just gotta, get through it. Yeah, no, so the vaccines and those kinds of things, everyone, there is already laws set into place. And, this whole thing is trying to use the executive branch in order to kind of bulldoze over and get everything done that they want to get done. But that is completely opposite of actually what P25 wants. P25 is like, we need to reduce and get rid of all these departments, get rid of all these jobs, combine it so one person's doing pretty much everything. So I think it's a really interesting tug of war here where they're like, well, I'm going to get this person to be in charge of this department. But according to P25, that department shouldn't even exist. So if we can get Congress to get rid of it and smush everything together, then we don't have to worry about it. So it's like they're using the same thing that they said is wrong in P25 in order to grab for power. So it's an interesting dynamic going on. Yeah, I mean exactly, VC. They gotta swim around in the cesspool of angst and anger. Oh my goodness. Hope the mods had a night off. Yes, exactly, exactly. Did not work too hard. Yeah, that's what's so nice over here is that we can just chat. It's okay, and we don't have to be too worried about it. But yeah, I do not think polio is going to or any of our vaccines. We've already got troubles with our vaccines. I don't think it's going to get much worse. But you just never know. You never know. The world's gone crazy, everybody. It's gone crazy. Yikes. Portion of my family's small. Yeah. And yeah, just the four of us watched it. Well, yeah. I also, in the conversation with, well, good talking to you. Goodbye. Oh, I love that. I love that. For me, the hardest thing was that there was one person, but that person had three children with her. And I say children, but they're older. And so, if I'm hearing this kind of stuff from a kid, then, I'm like, that's not okay. Like, where'd you get that information from? Why don't you go look that up? Like, put down your iPad and tell me where your resource is. So that's kind of one of the things that sucks, is when they're starting to get them so young now. Oh my gosh. Things aren't bad here in Ireland. Oh my gosh. Well, Matthew, you all put your time in. You put your time in for your hardships. Like, you get a card, you get a free pass now. Ireland's like, we checked all the boxes for all the things we're done. Oh my gosh. And rightfully so. In my opinion. Oh my goodness gracious. So with that, everybody, I'm checking the clock. We've done an hour and a half here, so I think we've made a good dent. I should probably let everyone go before my voice cracks out on me again. So I will probably be posting a little bit less to the talk because I want to start bumping up my YouTube game, everyone. So I'll be posting on YouTube every day. I don't know exactly what I will be posting, but I'm already kind of setting a content schedule up for YouTube because I do want the transition to happen. And, honestly, even if something were to come back and save the TikTok, I still think that it's nice when I can actually read through a document and we can have a discussion without worrying about being reported or worried about the trolls taking advantage of the moderators. You know what I mean? It's just much more laid back, and I really, really enjoy that. So I definitely want to start making it over here. So watch for shorts. Those will be coming out pretty much every day over here. So, but I still will be on the talk for as long as I can. Good to see you. We'll turn on your notifications. Yeah, exactly. If you have another device, you can stream the book. Yeah. This was great. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. It's just one of those things at this point with the talk where it's like, I'm ready to kind of pull back and move over into another place with less angry people. But we'll see. We'll see how everything goes, everyone. I'll keep you posted. And of course, I appreciate you all coming and hanging out so we can chit chat and learn about some fun stuff. Reminds me of the early days of TikTok. Oh, I know, Snappy. Oh, I feel the same way. I love it. So take care, everyone. I will be back again as soon as I can. Definitely will be doing more lives over here and more posting. So other than that, I'll be over on the talk if you've got questions or whatever. So take care. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon.